Hey, have you ever picked up your guitar, played a song you love, and it sounds nothing like it? Well, we've all been there, and I know it sucks. But what if I told you that learning guitar by yourself doesn't have to be frustrating? Hi, I'm Juan Pablo, a guitarist and a teacher, and I've been there too. But after years of trying and learning, I have found what really works. So let's break it down together. When I started learning by myself 14 years ago, I was so lost. I'd practice random things and try to play songs that were way too hard for my level, and I really had no idea if I was actually improving. Then came the bad habits, and my fingers weren't positioned right, and I developed some musical pain in my back, in my hands, and even in my fingers. I also ignored rhythm, and I just spent hours practicing without getting any better. And you know what's worse? I had no idea how to fix it, and that's why it makes self-taught learning really difficult, because you must face challenges constantly and without a roadmap, or even without any insights into how to overcome them. You may be feeling lost with no direction, maybe picking up bad habits without realizing it, which is something really common when you try to play and learn the guitar by yourself. You may not be developing a good musical ear, so everything sounds kind of off. You may be wasting time practicing the wrong way. You may be feeling no motivation at all, because it feels like you are not improving, even if you get to practice every single day. Or you may be struggling with music theory and not really knowing where to start and how to apply it into the guitar. And most people think that the theory is just memorizing chord forms or scales and formulas, but that is not how you make music. Yes, that's the thing that is behind every single you hear in the radio, but the key is to learning how to apply it, so you can actually use theory to create, to improvise, and even to understand songs. But here's the thing, I developed a method that changed everything. And I went from lost and frustrated to actually making progress into the guitar, playing full songs, and improving every single time I picked up my guitar. And today, I will show you the 3 core principles that will make you completely unstoppable on this instrument. Let's get to it. So the first principle is your mindset. And for this one, you need to start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And even if you have full gear equipment, or if all you have is an old auto-tuned guitar, that's still enough to get started. There are no excuses. Then you need to understand that talent is a myth. And I know, it sounds kind of fake, but the only thing that matters is how you practice and how constantly you are present with your instrument. And the last tip that I'm going to give you is that you need to be able to give yourself room for mistakes and be extremely patient, because every great guitarist was a beginner at first, and your job isn't to be perfect, it's to get better every time you pick up your guitar. The second principle is technique. And even if you are a beginner, an intermediate, or even an advanced guitar player, you need to start and to keep going to the fundamentals. And this goes along with the challenges that I mentioned before. Beginners need fundamentals, and even the pros return to them constantly. The basics never stop being important. Then you need to try to conquer your hands first. And it sounds kind of vague, but control is everything. You need to train your left hand for precision and your right hand for rhythm. And if one hand is weak, then your playing will suffer. You also need to take into account that your fingers play the notes, but your ears make the music. And if you can hear it, you can play. And playing the right notes isn't enough. Timing, dynamics, and feeling matters just as much. So you need to train your ears. And you will say, well, how do I train my ears? You could do that by active listening. And you can do this comparing your playing to the original song and using a slow down or even backing tracks to refine your sense of rhythm and tone. Then, the third and the last principle is practice. And for this one, I'm going to give you 3 tips into how to really optimize your practice. First of all, you need to break down the songs, and don't try to play the whole song at once. You could break it into little sections, then master one after the other, and then play them together. The second one is to be constant and make it fun to lead the guitar. And it seems kind of obvious, but if practice feels like a chore, then we are doing it wrong. You need to play the songs you love, challenge yourself, and enjoy the process. And remember, you need to be constantly engaged with your instrument to get to improve your skills. The last one is you should track your progress and make reachable goals. You could do this by recording yourself once a week, and this will show you your real progress. And who knows, you could sound better than you think. Now, even with the perfect blueprint, there are some hidden traps that could throw away your progress. And I've seen even experienced players fall into this. And trust me, you don't want to make these mistakes. And mistake number 1 is practicing too much. And it sounds fake, but it's true. I know what you're thinking. Well, how can you practice too much? Well, here's the thing. If you practice without a plan and you are just repeating mistake after mistake, then when you keep repeating mistakes constantly, you get really good at playing things the wrong way. Then, mistake number 2 is ignoring rhythm. And this is the invisible mistake that ruins everything. You could play all the right notes, but if your rhythm is off, then it will never sound good or how it was meant to be. That's why so many beginners struggle to make songs sound right, or at least like the original song. And mistake number 3, and the absolute worst one, is never giving yourself feedback. And most people think that they're improving, but they don't listen to themselves. And if you never stop to hear what is wrong, then you will stay stuck forever. Now, you have the roadmap, you know the biggest mistakes, and you don't really have to waste time or years struggling like many of us guitarists did. So, go and grab your guitar and start. What's the first song you're learning? Drop a comment with the name, and I'll be picking the most requested ones for future tutorials. See ya!